Hi, Paul Gorney from Luxury Living in Chicago. We're going to take a look at Chicago Lakefront Homes. There are a lot of places to live on the lakefront here. Some of the most popular, desirable places to live just because of the proximity to the lake. And I'm going to get into all that right now. I sell a lot of lakefront property, very experienced with homes, condos, everything on the lakefront. Some of them are truly pretty spectacular. I focus on where my experience is on the north side of the city. If you have any questions, anything just preliminary, big questions, small questions, anything, just reach out. Happy to help with anything at any point. Some parts of Lake Michigan really do remind me of the ocean. The beach I'm on now is just beautiful all summer. There's homes right on the lake here. You also have pretty incredible condominiums, penthouse units that are up and down Lakeshore Drive in the city. So if you want a home on the lake in Chicago, there's really some great options. You know, price is a huge factor, of course, so you can get a small condo, but you know, they're pretty pricey when you take into consideration the assessments. But that's really the main place you can live in the city. You know, there used to be some homes on the lake a long time ago that were knocked down, but most of the homes that are truly on a beach, sometimes a private beach, are on the North Shore of Chicago. So in Wilmette, homes in Wilmette, Winnetka, Kenilworth, Glencoe, Highland Park, Lake Forest, Lake Bluff, these areas, Kenilworth, I believe I mentioned, these homes have some pretty incredible space and views and just really beautiful locations. So if you truly want a home, as in a single family home in Chicago, it's going to be on the North Shore. So, Evanston has homes as low as about $3 million right now that can be purchased right on the lake. Have great lake access views. See the sun rising in the east in the morning. Just really beautiful. As you go further north, away from the city, you definitely will have homes that are more expensive. So there were, knockdowns were selling, homes that were going to be knocked down have been selling for, somewhere between, right around 7 million, basically, a lot of them. And now those homes are valued, depending on who you talk to and when, anywhere from, 15 to 30 million. Someone just purchased multiple lots on the lakefront, and from what I've been told, they're going to be building a $70 million home. So they're not making any more lakefront. It is what it is. I believe most likely it'll get more and more valuable as time goes on. A lot of people, when they want to come out of the city, and if they have the money, that's where they want to go. So new construction just sold on the lakefront. Absolutely beautiful home with a pool overlooking the lake. Just under 10 million, 10,000 square foot home with a gym. There's various builders, that are building these homes. Slight, variation in them, but some great options, and there can be some big swings in prices depending on the market. But right now, the market's pretty good. I do know of a home that was offering $2 or $3 million in owner financing at 0% recently, and then before it was purchased by that person, someone else caught wind that there was an offer, came in and bid almost full price with no owner financing at all. So because of the nature of the people buying these homes, many times they can just do whatever the heck they want. So if someone wants it, they'll come and get it, especially in times like right now. In other times, things have been not as strong, but for the foreseeable future, I think it's going to be pretty strong. In Chicago, many of the buildings that were built on the lakefront the vast majority of them were built, from the 60s to the early 80s. And many of these buildings, the ceiling height isn't as high as newer buildings. They're a little bit more dated, and the square footage, the layouts aren't really what people want today. So you kind of have to make do with a lot of these buildings that aren't brand new on the lakefront in Chicago. The John Hancock building, for example, has kind of a funky configuration. Many of the units typically have very low ceiling height, and a lot of other kind of antiquated features compared to new construction. Now, new construction on the lakefront, there's some gorgeous buildings. There's not that many of them north of downtown. There's 2550 Lakeview in Lincoln Park. Beautiful building, high-end building, gorgeous, all the latest amenities. However, most of the buildings are the older ones. If you go south of downtown, then you're going to be looking at things like in the South Loop that have gorgeous lake views, newer buildings with all the amenities, better floor plans, great ceiling height, great balconies. The newer ones are just so much better in many areas, but they just don't have the 10 plus grade A location that the older buildings do. So if you'd like to live close to downtown, you have a lot of condominium options. There's a few townhomes a little further north of downtown that look over Lakeshore Drive towards the lake, but most everything is condos for the most part. If you come up to the North Shore, that's when you're going to get homes on the lakefront, and there'll be homes anywhere from older homes from 5,000 square feet up to typical new construction 10,000, and then many that are 20 plus, just depending on where it is, how out recently it was built. So some great properties, but Chicago Lakefront Homes is definitely a thing on the North Shore, and condos in the city, some great beautiful options. And there's nothing like seeing the sunrise in the east and just having a beautiful start to your day. Of course, one of the big things when you're buying a property in Chicago is the commute and what kind of outdoor space you want. So condos are going to have balconies, some on lower floors typically have terraces. Some of the penthouses have incredible rooftop decks. I mean, some really beautiful places, very dramatic. Those units can go anywhere from two, even less than two sometimes, up to 5 million plus. So just some pretty incredible options in the buildings downtown and along the lakefront. I'm one of the top selling agents in Chicago for 30 years, represent a lot of our professional athletes and business leaders. Just reach out if you have any questions, specifically in this video for Chicago Lakefront Homes, condos, homes, single families on the lakefront. Very well versed in all the above and can help you understand, read between the lines and see what's best for you. Many of the high-rise buildings will have rooftop pools. There's also many new rental luxury buildings along the lake with some beautiful views, that some of them have their own private pool, like where you can stay stationary and then the current works against you, and then hot tubs. And these are on top floor penthouses, just incredible lake views. That particular unit I think was $20,000 a month, so pretty pricey, pretty incredible rental units for but many buildings built like this in Chicago in the last 10 years. I just had some clients move here from a southern state, and they very much wanted to live on the lake, but after looking at the options, considering the pricing, commute to the lake, commute to downtown rather, they decided to move downtown. So they're not on the lake. They cut the price in half, for the house, and they're fine with that. They would have been beautiful, but they're okay with it. So you get away from the lake, just like my clients did, and dramatic difference in price. I mean, you know, you can drive 5 or 10 minutes and be at the lake, save yourself a bundle of money, whether you're buying a luxury home or a condo. Typically, that will apply to both. One of the biggest things to keep in mind when you're deciding if you want a condominium, a penthouse, or a home is pretty low maintenance with the condos. Doormen, all the types of things you want in a luxury high-rise building, or even one of the older buildings has a doorman and nice amenities. But up north, where you buy homes right on the lake, they start out right up on the lakefront, like where you can just go right in the water. Some have private beaches, like in Wilmette, and some in Winnetka and Kenilworth. However, it becomes more prevalent that you will have something to jump off on, depending on the lake level. You know, so it won't be as cozy as walking in sand, you know, getting into the lake that way. Like Wilmette has an exceptional setup. As you go further north, more into like Highland Park, Lake Forest, you get into bluffs, you know, where you're way up on a bluff, and some people have like little cars that are motorized that will take you down the bluff. There's some pretty strict regulations sometimes about keeping the bluff, you know, in good condition. People have spent, you know, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars to repair, solidify bluffs. These are all things that are pretty darn important. Plus, you're higher up, which gives you pretty incredible views many times, but you can't walk right into the lake in many locations. So just something to keep in mind. And there are a few incredibly interesting beaches. They are really, really tiny, and they're right between multi-million-dollar homes with their own private beaches. So people can come down, hang out on the beach, go in the water, throw a frisbee around, and then if they go kind of over, you know, property line, they're on somebody's private property. So they're pretty neat spaces, actually. Some people have tried to purchase the public beaches and weren't allowed to. They wanted to keep them, you know, open space for the public, and but they are pretty cool spaces. They're kind of hard to find. You kind of have to know about where some of these little beaches are. Another thing is, similar to the city with the condominiums, many of the homes in the absolute prime locations are older homes. So many of them have been knocked down and will continue to be. You know, on the North Shore of Chicago, these homes are just in premier locations from when they were built in the 40s, 50s, 60s, whenever they were built. So a lot of them are being knocked down. And the new construction, just like the condominiums on the lakefront in Chicago, if you're looking for a lakefront home, the new construction has everything you want, including pools now in the backyard overlooking the lake. So new is always better in some people's minds, but some of these homes are fairly historic and have some really beautiful architecture.